All right.
Alan Pootie.
Yes, he's singing the Alan Pootie show. And that's what we are. First topic of the day, the Jeremy.
Well, we can explain what we're doing first for the people.
Oh, what are we doing? We're going to do some Trimet calls. And, he's going to talk about it from his point of view, and I'm going to talk about it from my point of view. He's like the opposite point of view from me. But somehow we seem to get along anyway. What else are we doing, Pootie?
I think we're just going to do a hodgepodge of whatever we feel like, and we'll do it as often as we feel like for you, the peoples.
Like Eli? Okay. All right. Eli. Yeah, so let's start with the Jeremy trial. You continue to say to me that somehow this guy's innocent when the facts are absolutely clear, especially after you've seen the videos. I mean, how do you debate this? You finally got to see the video, which is what you've been hopping on for the last fucking 2 years. So I don't understand how you still believe that this is an issue of self-defense. It's not. So tell me.
Well, there is some self-defense to it. Yeah, he shoved, what was it, Micah?
Wait a minute, but he was shoved. Micah got shoved first, if you looked at the video.
Yeah.
Right.
But then Micah got all up in his grill, and you got to remember, there's more videos where the other two people that were stabbed, they weren't in that first footage that was released yesterday. But those two also came up and got into his grill. So, and he's got mental issues. When people get up in his grill like that, that's gonna happen. And they said there was like not a police sergeant, some army guy. I forgot what his name was, but he was telling Micah not to get involved because he was just gonna set him off.
Yeah.
And no, Micah didn't listen. He tried to be a little tough big boy.
Yeah.
And
well, that may all be true, but I mean, this is definitely on Christian. It's definitely on Christian, man. First of all, he's harassing these women, and then somebody tries to help, and it escalates to this. And you see that he, I tweeted out the actual law on self-defense yesterday. It's, his life was never in jeopardy, and therefore he's guilty because he used deadly force against somebody who is not threatening his life. And that's why he'll be convicted.
It depends on what terms you want to go off of. So yeah, we can sit there and say that by looking at the video, that his life wasn't threatened, but his mind works differently. Obviously, he's not all there.
So, well, obviously he's mentally ill.
What we see on the video we can't put ourselves in his mind. I just like it because of the fake outcry from people. The media is hyping it all up for revenue. Tune into us. It's not, so we can sell more advertising.
Well, that's probably true.
They don't really give a damn. I mean, I laugh about it because, I think Maggie Vespa from Channel 8 is the Jeremy Christian reporter. That's what she's devoted to now. But she's the same one after we killed Baghdadi that started talking about World War III with Iran and started tweeting about the draft process, and got the hysteria going that we're going to start the draft again. It's like, what? Hit the brakes, lady.
Okay, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, well, I just follow. I was reading her tweet that Channel 8 would retweet, and I'm like, you are the media is just out there to make a buck. They don't care.
Yeah,
they throw their shit out there, and people fucking follow them like lapdogs. Right?
Yeah. Well, you're right about that. I absolutely agree with you there.
I don't think people really give a damn about the girl on the train or anything. They just call out. They just want to go crazy and say he's a Nazi. He's a weird Nazi because he was a Bernie bro. So
yeah, but he was a supremacist. Listen. He talked about it himself. He says it himself. All Muslims get out of here. All blacks. This is a white. Come on, man. Don't be in denial about that. He was a supremacist. who was mentally ill, most likely made crazy by his 9 years in state prison and his affiliation with the white supremacist gangs in prison, which is a fact of life. If you want to survive prison, you have to be in one of the gangs in prison.
I think I utilize him as a prime example of what's going on in the community. I mean, I like it when you get that fake outcry, because it just makes me laugh. And I know you like that Sarah, whatever, Ian Arone, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, I like her. Yeah.
She's always out there whenever there's a police-involved shooting. Oh, mental health. Police shot him within seconds. I listen to the police scanner quite a bit, and you'd be surprised. I guess maybe you wouldn't be surprised how many mental health calls they go to in a day where nobody's shot.
Yeah, I know.
They like to fake hysteria where they bring that one incident where somebody did, the police did have to use deadly force, and make that into some crazy thing like it's happening every 5 minutes or something. It's like, oh yeah, get one every 3 months, but you know how many calls a day the police go on?
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I know.
She's just another mental. I mean, and even on the Trimet scanner, you hear all these crazies on the bus or on the Mac. It's unfortunately in society, it's bound to happen again. There'll be another stabbing.
Well, of course, there'll be another stabbing. Of course, there'll be another shooting. Of course, there'll be. This is part of American life now. Okay. This wasn't going on when I was a young man, when I was in college. None of this shit happened back then. I'm talking about the 70s. This is just a fact of life now. I mean, the society has changed. It's gotten more violent.
It ain't believe it's Beaver days,
Yeah, no, so, things are changing for the worst, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Anyway, all right, let's get to this calls and see what we got here, okay?
Have you listened to any of these?
No, I haven't. Do you have any recommendations? Have you listened to some of these?
Oh, no, I was just curious which ones you start playing them at random.
Okay, I just go from his oldest call to his most recent call. So here's the first one: investigate the flat. So let's see what it is.
I don't know if you can write one. I've got one due down in North Terminal with a possible dual right side that's starting to go flat. It's due down there at...
All right. Big deal, right? Okay. No comment. What is there to say about that? Nothing. Okay, next.
7506 at Pier Park. Yeah, I got a report hazard message. Yeah, Lombard northbound between St. Louis Avenue and St. John's Avenue. A lot of potholes forming. They were filled in before, but with all this rain there.
Just dry.
Yeah, that's well. Yeah, that guy likes to use the radio anyway. You hear him all the time. His name is Eli. He's a big. He's a big Trimet.
I know Trimet and Piedmont work together, but god dang.
Yeah, no, yeah. Don't worry. They already know those are there anyway. It's not like they don't know. I mean, police go up and down these roads. The Department of Public Works goes up and down these roads.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if the city makes potholes just so they could fill them in. Anything to spend $1.
Next.
Block 812. I'm leaving from the Casey Eye Center, and when I got to the Veterans Hospital, and I let out a wheelchair customer, and my door wouldn't close back, and it kept saying wheelchair ramp. The light went on, and I had to sit there for about 5 to 7 minutes. Another bus driver came to assist me and couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so I'm going to do a repair slip because I finally got the bus running. And so all my customers had got off and went to their destinations. Okay, I copy that. The other thing you can do on your layover, is this your last trip?
Battery reset.
Back now. Okay, copy. If it ever happens in the future, open it back up again and check to see if there's anything jamming it, keeping it from closing all the way. But write a work hard, and you have a good rest of your day. I did open it and checked it for any jams, and
Yeah.
So I'll write a slip. Thank you.
Okay, that's a
Just
good.
drive.
Yeah, well, they're gonna bust her for being late. You see, that's the problem.
Well,
You know,
when they call you, then tell them.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I get. Yeah, I don't know
Most
if you're a newbie and you've been told to call in on everything, you're gonna call in on everything because that's
most likely she's sitting there with a talking on the phone, just making herself even more late.
Yeah,
You know?
well, that's probably true, but she's. I don't know. Sounds like she's pretty new to me. I've never heard that voice on the scanner. So
I can't say that. I can't recall her either.
Yeah,
so, but
yeah, and I yeah.
If they care, they'll call you.
Well, that's for sure. Next.
Well, it sure is.
All right. Well, we've been having some trouble with the heater on this bus. Yeah, it didn't work for about an hour. Then it came on for a short time.
That's a scanner star, by the way. You remember his voice.
And it's been off again for about an hour, and my people are cold. Over.
Okay, well, we can have the truck take a look at it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Anytime, any place.
My knees are cold.
My people are cold. Yes.
Oh, I thought you said knees.
No, he said my people are cold.
Oh.
Yeah, you know that shit shouldn't. That's another. These constant problems that never seem to get fixed. Really, they want $7 billion, but they can't fix these basic things. It's just crazy, man. What?
Then somebody's just gonna complain it's too hot.
Strange. 5102, what's blocking you? There's a car accident in the middle of the road, and cars are going by, but the fireman says that my bus won't fit through.
All right, well, just wait then, right? Okay, miss. Next. Just chime right in if you have anything to say about any of these.
907, Lincoln and First headed towards the garage.
907, I got your request to talk. What's up?
Hey, I don't know if we're supposed to let you know or not, but I had missed an exit on my deadhead, so I am heading back to the garage. I'm just rerouting myself back into downtown, and then taking a different route now.
Okay, but you still use the Telecom Bridge if you're headed that way. Use the Ross Island.
That's what I'm doing. Thank you.
Yeah, the bridge that you can't, the Tittycombe Bridge. Only certain buses can use it.
That is the dumbest fucking crap. I like it when cars use it as a shortcut.
Yeah, I don't. Nice pork barrel, and nobody gets to use it, but it's the bridge of the people, dude.
Only the people on the fucking train.
Yeah, and the bicyclists, I guess.
6769 at PCC Rock Creek.
6769, how can I help?
Yeah, I was just curious. I am leaving Rock Creek now immediately behind my follower because of that traffic on Bethany. Do you want me to head to a certain spot or just run up behind him?
Okay, so
that is called bus bunching.
I'm trying to find. You said that your follower. You're following your follower out.
Yeah.
Okay, helps if I pull up the right block. I can see you guys out there.
Wait a minute, he's following his follower? All right, that's good enough. I don't care about that. Do you care about...
Well, the major dispatch never catches these things.
Well, they don't have any time. They don't have any time to look. Dispatch's not paying any attention to you because they're so busy trying to get calls that they're not actually watching the board. They're all backed up with calls over there. And we're only covering less than probably about 5% of the calls. So they're constantly answering calls. So they're not tracking buses unless it comes to their attention.
Do you think Trimet would have somebody that's dedicated to keeping eyes on these things?
No, they're not going to pay. They're not going to pay even a penny more than they have to for operations, because everything that doesn't go into operations goes into the capital projects, which is the pork barrel part of the agency, the elites. That's where the elites get their money from, is that pork barrel part.
Well, I know, but it's creation of a new pork barrel project. project. They need another, $2 billion for a new tracking system that will alert them when the buses are bunching,
Yeah.
They would love about that.
Yeah, well, they're Trimet Pork Barrel is construction, light rail, okay, developers. You know this. That's what they do. That's what they do over there.
Oh, they got some leader technology. They got some company that they probably work with that will come up with some expensive system to prevent bus bunching in the future.
Well, no, all the agencies have bus bunching. This is a common problem with American transit.
Yeah.
It's not something unique.
It shouldn't happen with a bus that runs every 30 minutes like the 67.
No, it must have been some kind of problem there. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, next.
1103.
Hey, 1103. Supervisor was looking for an ETA when you're going to get there. You're headed to Greeley and Rosa Parks, right? Northbound on Greeley?
Yeah, I'm almost there. Might be about 10 minutes.
Okay. So you're getting onto Larrabee now to get onto Interstate, and then you're going to cut over to Greeley?
Yeah.
Okay. Did the other dispatcher give you directions on how to get over there, by chance?
They told me if I couldn't figure it out, to call him. But I think I figured out a way to get out here, so.
Okay. Yeah.
In other words, he's not happy that she took this particular route to get where she's going. But
And it doesn't sound like he knows where she's at.
yeah, and he's not happy about it. But of course, she doesn't really know where she is, so she's taking the route that she knows. Okay, they assume that people know where the hell they're going, and they don't.
Because we would have had you cut over
Yeah,
like at Killingsworth or something about, a ways up there. But looks like you're getting close to being on Greeley here in a second anyway. So.
All right, well, people don't know where they're going, man.
North Portland can be confusing anyways.
Right. I didn't know my way around there.
There's a good chance that Doc gave her directions and that she didn't possibly understand them.
Okay, is she headed back this way, or should I just bag it?
We're going to call her. Where do you need her?
That
You
must
said
be the call
Greeley and
before
what?
that last call.
Yeah, northbound Greeley to a westbound turn onto Rosa Parks, which should be a left. If they're willing to come up.
Yeah, that is a institutional failure as far as I'm concerned. You send untrained people out, they don't know where they're going, and then they get pissed when they get lost because you follow directions or whatever. But that's common what you just heard there. It happens all the time.
Yeah, we hear that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people don't really know where they're going. They're trying the best they can. I mean, if you don't know where you are, what are you supposed to do? You're in a 40-foot bus, for Christ's sakes.
239.
239, I got a request for service info. What's up?
The stop on 20th and last edition, both direction. The temporary closure signs were still up. Well, this was my third trip in. That stop's still closed.
Well, let me see here. It looks like they're supposed to be finished yesterday at 4.
Yeah, that's just drive. That's just this case where you just pick them up where you see if people are waiting, the open stop or the closed stop, you just pick them up, right? Right? Just stop.
Well,
Yeah, just stop and pick them up at both stops. What's the big deal?
just drive by them. That's okay. Train 75.
That's what you would do.
75, I got a request to talk. What's up?
We're still on reroute. The train is still there.
Yep, I put you a message there.
Okay. The train. Okay, what's he saying? All right, next one. Let's see here. Let me see. Oh wait, here's one. Here's a good one for you. This is a good Pootie one.
5473 northbound Shoals Ferry. He on Hall, westbound on the corner of Shoals Ferry. There's somebody been camping out in that shelter all morning, making our customers stand out in the rain.
Okay, is this the shelter you said?
All right, we need to listen. What do you think about that, Poot?
Kick him out.
No, I say just drive. So what? So
Kick him out.
No, keep them. Just drive, man. They got nowhere else to go. Where are they going to go? They're going to go down the street.
Outside themselves. Hey, if I'm paying $250 to ride the damn bus, I want to stay out of the rain.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but it's you're going to stand there for a little bit, and they got nowhere to go.
Well, don't worry.
You bring an
Eddie's
umbrella,
talking about it.
huh?
Don't worry. The mayor's talking about the problem.
Yeah, right. I'm sure he'll solve it, right? Yeah.
Of course.
No, I know it's not a good thing, but I mean it's a much deeper problem than the Trimet problem, is what I'm saying. You know, this is your essential government failure that there's no place to go. I mean, they don't have a fucking auditorium available. Like, here, you got no place to go. Here's a great big warehouse, and you can come camp over here, okay, and get out of the way. They can't even do that. They just have these people wandering around the streets. I think they like that because they can keep getting people to pass taxes for this, and yet the problem is never solved. It just keeps getting worse. But people want to be helpful. You know, they see a homeless, help the homeless, tax increase. They vote yes. Unfortunately, they're throwing their money out because that's not going to solve the problem. Giving the money to the people who created the problem is not going to solve the problem. But unfortunately, citizens get fooled.
I always wonder where all these homeless people get the money to afford tents. They got some nice tents.
I mean, a pet doesn't cost anything. They probably get it at a shelter. I don't know. I agree with you I agree with you. If you're homeless, what are you doing with a pet? I agree with that. I mean,
free tent for everybody.
You can't even keep your own self, but you got a pet, and yeah.
Go sleep at Trimet headquarters. Walk in the lobby. Take a nap.
Okay.
Dougie can step over you.
Well, how can I help? Hey, just to let you know, I was pulling out at 39th with Cesar Chavez, heading into town here, and the gentleman in the mobility device was going against the light, and I went around him and I pulled over to pick him up, but in doing so, the light, the camera flashed me, being part of my back end at the intersection. I'm just letting you know that.
Fired.
All right, no worries. It's on a recorded line if anything should come of it. I just didn't want a ticket to come my way because it's something I had to kind of, I had to do to get out of the way.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're gonna get a ticket. My girlfriend got one of those tickets. It was cool, man. It showed her the ticket. They send you the picture of you. There she was in the bus, all decked out nicely. She always looked nice when she was driving, and here's you going through the red light on Burnside, and that was kind of, yeah.
A tip for the bus drivers out there: if you're gonna use an excuse, don't use the riders as an excuse, because Trimet doesn't give a damn about the riders.
Well, I don't know.
I tried to pull over for this rider, and I got the ticket.
I doubt he got flashed anyway. I mean, if it doesn't. Those lights go off for all kinds of reasons. They're not always you. I used to have. They do that to scare people, I think, too. It's like the light will go off, and I had it happen to me multiple times on Canyon Road. They used to have a van there that would park
down at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, they have a van there, and that thing would go off. And I know I wasn't speeding or anything, but the light would go off anyway.
Most people do down that road, though.
Yeah, I know they do. It's a good place to catch people. All right, next up is Dispose.
1668.
1668. Good morning. What's up?
Good morning. I just want to make you guys aware that there's a light-skinned African-American woman with a shaved hair on the side, black sweatpants, red vest with spikes. I definitely want you to know that she has some serious mental health. Found her non-threatening to me, but she talks a lot and she stands up by the driver, and I just thought, it's only a bus ride. It's only a bus ride. I tried not to correspond with her, only to try, if I did talk, to de-escalate any of her thoughts.
Okay. About how old do you think she was?
What?
About 35. 8.
All right, copy. And she got off in St. John, sir?
Yeah, Philadelphia Street in Lombard by the U.S. Bank.
Okay, so she was fine with you, just as a little bit kind of wants to stand in the operator's space while you're moving? Is that kind of the biggest issue, and she's talking a lot?
They have a cage, right?
Yeah, she's talking a lot. I mean, she was appropriate on my bus by standing up. I asked her to sit down, and she did when we went over the bridge, but I'm definitely telling you, she's a little fireball, but she's so far harmless.
Yeah, that's very nice. Why?
Okay. I'll let everybody.
The way things I'm calling in about somebody who's harmless.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just drive. I mean, shit, man. You get that all day, you know. You get crazy. Yeah. Okay, lady. You're good. Call it in. It's not going to do. It does nothing to call it in. It does no good calling that in. It doesn't.
You're just stressing yourself out for no damn reason.
Yeah, there's no, and it doesn't do any good calling that in. There's nothing that the dispatch can do about that. They're not going to call the buses and say, be on the lookout for this woman who might stand up by you. Yeah.
Some of these operators, man.
I know. They're not. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, some of them are not too bright. That was always, you do understand that one of the goals of when they instituted government public transportation was to employ otherwise unemployable people and give them a decent paying job. And Trimet does that. I mean, they hire a lot of, even myself, 45 looking for a job. They hire people that need a job, and public transportation. That was one of the reasons. It was one of the goals was to employ unemployable people. And if you look at some of the bigger East Coast cities, you'll see that a lot of these districts are mostly black, giving opportunities to black people that had no other way to make a living. So you get a lot of these people that are low intelligence who can't really make a living on their own, and this is kind of results. I mean,
I know there's an operator out there that straight PTSD, a drunk, and I'm 95% sure is a meth user. But he's out there driving 5 days a week.
Well, yeah, I don't think he'd be a meth user. That would be very risky.
Oh, he is.
You think he's using meth and driving a bus? I would.
I can't say that he does it when he drives a bus, but it's off time. So.
Yeah, that's pretty risky, though.
I'm just waiting for the day that happens with him on the bus with his PTSD and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the goals of the public is to give people jobs. I mean, that's noble in a certain respect, absolutely, but in another respect, it's bad because it doesn't. The riders should be the focus of the network. Really, how do we get the best people to give our riders the best experience? But that's not what happens, and it's going.
One of these days, it won't be riders knifing each other. It's going to be an operator knifing somebody.
That's very rare. Operators do crack, as you know, and have nervous breakdowns on the job. But there's you don't see bus drivers like intentionally driving over bridges and shit and taking their passengers.
It's coming.
Yeah, maybe one of these days, but it seems like they have recruited people that have enough stability to at least not do that kind of stuff.
Yes.
10:03, and I forgot to turn on to 28.
Okay, so just go up to Chavez, make a right, and then go. Wait, are you going into town? No.
No, I'm on Gladstone and 36th, and I'm headed out.
Okay, so right on Chavez.
Yeah, that's the 10 bus. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
I don't think that.
I hated driving that run. I hated that run. It was horrible.
Just get rid of it.
Go ahead for bus 2910.
2910, go ahead. How can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Apparently there was an operator that probably got sick. He was doing Route 3570. He returned back to the yard, and I've been assigned to finish off the remainder of 3570.
Okay, So
Really,
3570. So start heading for.
Yeah, I guess somebody got sick,
Oh,
and this is the guy that's taking over the run. I didn't hear the sick call, but we don't get all the calls, as you know. Desire exhaust.
9667 Martin Ozzy, 12th and Sherwood.
Hey, Eric, I got a mechanical rolling. This is Ron. How can I help?
Tell me about diesel exhaust fluid.
Oh, the light. Yeah, that's just mechanical. Fuck that. Okay.
8130. Got bus 3230 had a DEF light come on.
Light.
Then when he was going slightly down a hill, also had a check engine light. When it leveled out, both of the lights went out. That's something we need to be concerned about. At this point, I'm just having him write a card. He's out until like 1:30. Yeah, if the light stays out, I wouldn't worry about it.
That's what
Take it at 10:01.
What the hell's a DEF light? I have no idea.
That was a diesel emission or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Defroster?
242, go ahead. 242, go ahead.
242?
Go ahead.
242, go ahead. I can hear you.
Hey, so the 2, are we still on reroute?
Yes, until further notice.
Okay, it's great. Okay, this was. I've already heard this. Let's hear it again, because.
Hello.
Oh, it's this guy. Yeah.
Can you tell me why?
Why, 2,
Mama, don't show to be careful.
This might be Jeff Hunt. I mean,
only doctors and lawyers and such, they'll just break your heart. Why?
That's a guy that likes his job.
Would dispatch be getting pissed off?
Apparently not, because he's been doing it. He's testing radios, and you know.
Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah, he's just testing radios on his own channel. I mean, it's not impeding other radio traffic, and we're the ones hearing it. I mean, this small group of us that actually care about any of this. So the management doesn't give a shit, because nobody here. You know, how many people hear this, right? Everybody thinks, oh, you look what you're doing, and they don't seem to realize that it's just a small club of us that are having fun with this material. It's what we are doing here is not getting out into the mainstream. It's just a subculture here. And they know that. And Trimet knows that. That's why they don't bother us. They leave us alone. Because we don't move around with the material. We're not trying to do anything with it. We're just doing our own deal, basically. Not bothering them.
And there's nothing they can do about it anyway.
No, they don't. Yeah, it's true, too. But, I mean, they could tell them to stop doing that. But, you know, the only people that are paying attention to what I'm doing and what yours is Trimet social media people. And they're not executives. They're not hooked into that. They're a separate department. Kelsey and the rest of them aren't paying any attention to this. You know, they're not part of this. They don't think about this at all. You know, they don't care about it at all. They're completely.
And that's the big difference. Big difference between McFarlane and Kelsey, because McFarlane did pay attention. He had his people keeping their eye out on Trimet Twitter.
Well, he did pay attention. Yeah. Well, you know, the whole McFarlane experience that's where I ended up getting. Once, you know, I had actually good relationships with the Trimet management until McFarlane came in, and I was one of his first targets. Is like, shut that guy up right now. And
and then you Twitter, and McFarlane's regime had an eye out on Trimet Twitter. I mean, look at what they did with Lane and everything. So.
Well, Lane was in their face, man. I mean, he went to the board meetings and stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
he was actually doing civil.
Kelsey wouldn't care. Kelsey doesn't.
No, maybe not. So. Yeah, he seemed to be more laid back.
If Lane pulled what Lane did then or now with Kelsey, it would be a totally different experience. Kelsey's,
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right about that. Kelsey seems to be more.
He knows he's lucky he didn't even have a job like this after he got fired. So
Yeah, well, he's doing it. He's doing. McFarland trained him specifically, handpicked him, and
handpicked him from his mouth.
Yeah, and he's still implementing the agenda that was planned out. He has not wavered on that. So
yeah, but I do appreciate how he doesn't care about the small stuff like Trimet Twitter and
I don't think McFarland directly cared, but I think that
I think it poked him.
Well, we were picking on him constantly. I mean, I think the union and me and the other activists had a role in getting McFarland out of there, definitely. Because he left. He left because he had a bad reputation, basically, and that's a result of not just me, but it's also the union, and his reputation was very bad, and it should have been, because he did a lot of bad things. Okay, he did a lot of nasty things. McFarland was bad. He was bad. He did all kinds of shit they should have done to the union members, and he left so that once they're trying to get this bond passed, he got his ass out of there because he knew he would be attacked. He's a bad face, so that's where he picked Kelsey. And Kelsey is a pretty good public speaker, as you can see. Looks good, talks good. He's got a much better chance of convincing the public to vote yes than McFarland did. That's for sure. And I'm sure that's exactly why.
He doesn't sweat the small stuff.
He what? I don't know. We don't really know anything about Kelsey, do we? We don't really. All I do is know that he's a career technocrat that is keeping himself on his agenda without distraction.
If we sweated the small stuff, we would know about it. We would hear it.
Well, he's got himself pretty locked up in there at Harrison Street. He's not coming out too much.
The Barlanes, you could tell sweated the small stuff. I mean, he went after you. You were small fruit in the Trimet world. He still went after you.
Well, I was, but I was an example of what he considered management lax. You're letting employees run wild. That's Kelsey. The same thing with the light rail operators. You're just letting these people do whatever they want. And McFarland wanted to end that. He wanted to change that culture to be a more military style culture. You do what we tell you or else. And that's what happened to me. And Kelsey, we don't see him out in the public, do we? He's not. Every one of his events are controlled events.
Kelsey's more laid back. Let me steal the money from the people.
Yeah, he's more professional about how he handles himself. That's all I'll say. All right, let's move along here. I don't. Most of the damage has been done by McFarland, but from what I hear from employees that are still there is that Kelsey is just as bad in terms of the treatment of the employees. I mean, you hear it. All these employees are under pressure all the time here. You can hear it on the scanner. They're always worried about getting in trouble. You shouldn't have to live like that, okay? If you're recruited and then you're trained and then you're hired, there needs to be some faith the management should have for you instead of constantly looking for ways to bust you. But what they're doing here is they're constantly looking for ways to bust their employees. 30 seconds early, come on, man, give me a fucking break, all right? That's bullshit, all right? That's just plain bullshit. That kind of thing is not is not worthy of talking to an operator about. Okay, it used to be you could be under a minute early and they wouldn't have to. Now they're down to the second, which is just bullshit. Okay, that's just
they got to put on a show for the people.
I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to break the employees or something. I haven't figured it out myself. All right, let's keep going.
Let's train 944 to Wayne speaking.
944, I got a mechanical rolling message.
Yes, I'm having an issue with the wipers. Even said at a constant rate, they're hesitating and pausing.
Okay, do you have them on intermittent on that or just regular?
Yeah, just regular. And when they aren't intermittent, they really slow up. They go to stuttering.
Yeah, this shit shouldn't be happening, you know. That kind of thing shouldn't be happening. How come it's so common, you know? I don't get it, man. They don't have enough mechanics or what?
1505.
Huh?
Not that work on weekends, we know that much. But
Yeah, right. They should be working on weekends.
Southwest 7 and 16th eastbound.
Hey, good morning, Manisha. This is Ron. How can I help?
Hi, Ron. So the left turning lane going on to 7, on to 7 from 18th is closed. Are we on a reroute or are we able to go through?
Yes, there is a reroute, and it should be in your pouch. It's the regular
All right, well, we don't need to hear that.
leaders in technology, they still have papers and pouches.
Well, yeah. Well, right. They're leaders in technology when it comes to the bells and whistles.
They got your CAD and your rail buddies and all that crap. You can't fucking get over a piece of paper and a pouch.
Yeah, no, they're fake. It's Trimet. Most of Trimet's accomplishments are hype anyway.
And I'm ready.
The only thing I'll give them credit for is transit-oriented development. That was a creation of Portland and Trimet. The whole idea. That's where they started it first, was Trimet and Portland, transit-oriented development.
Okay, vehicle number 1.
Oh.
At the stoplight, eastbound 162. I'm sorry, being told northbound. So they were northbound 162 in division. Vehicle number 2, as they were going by, made contact with us. There was no damage to vehicle number 1, unknown to vehicle number 2.
So was he moving?
And I'm ready.
Okay, vehicle number 1, at the stoplight, eastbound 162. I'm sorry, being told northbound. So they were northbound 162 in division. Vehicle number 2.
Well, he mentioned something about a stoplight. Maybe was he stopped or not
as they were going by, made contact with us.
Well, it shouldn't be a PA, but if he was moving, that always, you know, Trimet will give you the PA just because they like to do that to people. They make you go in there and fight it. If he was moving, maybe they'll PA him. Obviously, from the description, it's not his fault.
Probably use a stoplight, maybe, but
If he was stopped, it's not his fault. Okay, wait a minute. We got a good one coming up.
76, 67, West
One of the top scanner stars there.
Bound Hall at 8300.
Hey, Greg, I got a report.
Greg.
Ron, how can I help?
Hey, Ron, I've had 2 customers. The shelter at Hall and Shoals Ferry has somebody sleeping in it. And our customers are having to stand out in the rain because he's kind of camping there. And he's been there for about 3 hours. Is there any way you can have a road soup go by?
I take it he's under a blanket or something. You can't really give me a description.
He's under a blue sleeping bag. I believe he has.
I would never call that in, okay? Because my sympathies always went to the person who's dispossessed, okay? Versus the people that are inconvenienced for a little bit of time. Now, you would want them out of there, of course, and I don't know where do you want them to go, Pootie? So they kick them out of the shelter. Where do they go? Huh?
Trimet headquarters.
Okay. A good answer. Okay, I agree with you. Okay, I can't dispute that one. All you can do is get in the lobby there, but the lobby has got a person sitting there.
I haven't been to Teddy's house, but I'm pretty sure he's got a pretty good sized lot of land.
Yeah.
Tent in his backyard.
The fact that the operators have so little regard for people who are in pain doesn't it just
give him the mayor's address.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, what's Teddy gonna do if somebody pops a tent in the front yard? Nowhere else to go. You're gonna call the cops. It'd be bad.
Yeah, that's what he'll do. Teddy will call cops. Yes.
Oh, that'd be horrible public relations when that hit the news that he's kicking homeless off of his that aren't doing anything but sleeping in his grass. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the homeless are not organized, as you know.
Well, maybe the bus driver should unite together and just hand out little cards with his address and say, go sleep in this one.
I'm sure Trimet would love that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right, next up.
2458.
2468 Gateway Transit.
Yeah, is there a problem or what's going on? It's 6 minutes past your out time.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm leaving. I had a bloody nose that I was trying to take care of, but it's all taken care of now. But, sorry about that. I was not in a position to where I could call at the time.
All right, yeah, there's some people there that have a release to make. So, all right, do you need medical?
Oh, no, this is something I have to deal with a couple times a year. But yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for asking, though.
Okay, I copy. Thank you, and...
Poor guy. Wait, any comments?
I'm just curious. Remember that? What was it called the other day? With the lady with the whatever that is.
Fibromyalgia. Yeah.
Fibromyalgia. Yeah. Remember how Bynum was serious about calling for medical?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
No matter what.
Yeah. Well,
that dispatcher didn't care. If it was Bynum, would he be like, I don't care? You're getting medical.
Well, I think that my opinion on the other call is that I think they're making a case against her. That's what I think. You know, maybe she's a habitual sick or something, and they want to document that she doesn't need. You know, they want the ambulance to come out there just to document that there's nothing they can do. That's my theory anyway, of why they forced that to happen.
That's a good theory because
yeah,
we can always see how they treat different operators.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I think there's some agenda with that other woman, and that's pretty much how they do it there. You know that. I know that.
870 dispatch, be advised. I never saw that other 8, and I dragged my feet all the way down the mall. If the 9 behind me isn't ready to kill me, I'd be very shocked.
Yeah, I didn't mean for you to drag
good one
or anything like that, just in case you happen to see him. But yeah, he's taking it, running on down there himself.
Okay, copy that.
That was funny.
What the hell?
Yeah, he was trying to drag, but he's got another bus behind him.
Operator, gotta love it.
Yeah.
7860.
7867, how can I help you?
Yeah, I had a training bus in front of me, and I had to, on a downhill, hit the brakes a little hard. And I had a passenger on the bus bump her head. And anyway, she would like an incident number. She says she doesn't need medical, but she would like an incident number.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, fired.
I will...
He's following too close.
It was a training bus. Good luck fighting that one, because that trainer on the other bus is gonna blame you all day long.
Well, let me see.
7860.
Let me hear this again. Right?
7867, how can I help you?
Yeah, I had a training bus in front of me, and
Yeah.
I had to, on a downhill, hit.
Yeah. He's going to get PA'd for that because he's following too close. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be that so close that you'd have to do a hard stop like that.
Yeah, no matter how slow the training buses are going.
Yeah, you shouldn't be that close to them. You know.
Yeah, why? What's up with the 69?
What about him?
All the training buses have bus code 69.
Oh, okay, that must be the training bus code. I don't know. Yeah, that's the
69. 69 is just a random number that stands out in people's heads. But whenever I see a training bus, I thought it's 6901 or I'm like.
Yeah, so that must be the code. They have different codes for different things. So 69 must be the training code they put into the CAD.
I love me some Trimet porn.
Train for the beach speaking.
944, Roger out. in front of the garage. What you're going to do is you're going to pull into the driveway. Don't go through the gate. Stop there, offload your passengers, and they're going to cross over to the waiting bus that's going to be ready to leave the yard there.
Copy that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome. 1104.
Herding cattle.
That's a nothing call there, and that's nothing. Okay, mobility ramp. Let's try this one.
Hey, 509, I got your mechanical rolling. What's up?
Well, my ramp don't want to come out. When I try to deploy, they don't want to come out. I have to do it manually.
All right, and this is the first time it's happened?
Early on the first trip, they did okay. But then the third chair now, they have a little problema.
Okay, so you can still work it manually, but the power to the ramp is not working.
Yeah, when I try to push the button to deploy, they deploy just a little bit and stuck. So we have to deploy that by hand.
All right, maintenance says you can try a battery reset when you get to Milwaukee. If not, write a card on it and continue to use it manually.
We'll do that. The fellows who are going to relieve me will like that. But we'll do that in Milwaukee.
Yeah. In other words, fuck
I like
you.
that operator.
In other words, fuck you. Drive the bus and deal with it. That's the Trimet
Hey,
way.
another great accent.
Huh?
Another great accent.
Yeah, I love the accents, don't you? Those are my favorite drivers.
I like that. Must be Spanish. Problema.
Yeah. Those are my favorite drivers of the English second language. As from an entertainment point of view. I mean, a job is hard enough if you're from America, but I can't imagine what it's like for those poor people stuck there. And no, it's got to be hard.
2045.
Hi, good morning, Mallory. This is Ron. How can I help?
Hey, I'm just a bit of a troublemaker today, I guess. I have a passenger on my bus. He looks very disoriented and confused. He's sort of hunched over and wondering if maybe we should have medical. He's still breathing, but he's really confused.
Is this an elderly guy?
Yeah, I maybe 60. It's kind of hard to tell. He's not facing me.
Okay, does he look homeless or just somebody that's lost?
Yeah, I would guess that he's homeless.
Okay, did he just get on downtown?
Yes, he did at Fifth.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the supervisors, I don't know if I can get you, you're almost up to 23rd there. Let me see if I can.
Well, that's just another.
And that right there illustrates what I was talking about in the beginning when we were talking about JC and my comments about Sarah and stuff.
Yeah.
There are so many freaking mentally dispossessed people. If you're listening, doesn't matter if you're listening to the Trimet scanner, or if you're listening to the police scanner, that when you get that 1 in 5,000 that ends up in a police shooting, and everybody does the fake outcry, oh God, look what the police are doing. If you listen and just see how many calls a day with issues of these people,
Yeah. Well, I know you're right about that.
It puts into context how rare it is, but to sell your narrative, if you're Sarah or if you're
well, I don't think Sarah's narrative is false. I think there is definitely a culture of brutality within the police. I was married. My second wife came from a family of LAPD, and we used to go down. I used to go with her for all the holidays and stuff. And there's definitely a culture of brutality within the police. Okay, it's definitely true.
I'm not saying there isn't a culture, but when you take one incident and highlight it for your own personal good, either kill ratings on your news station or to get votes. If people actually listen to these scanner calls and actually listen to the police scanner and realize how many calls and how many incidents happen all day, every day, that 1 in whatever.
Yeah, but even
percentile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a point. That's a
We had one shooting in 3 months. If you get one police shooting in 3 months,
well,
say that happens of somebody that's mentally has mental issues.
Well,
think in that 3 months, how many Trimet calls and how many police scanner calls of mentally dispossessed people have gone on in that 3 months? That one shooting incident wouldn't. It would put it into context of how small that is. But like I said, when people like to highlight one incident to make it a norm. When we listen to these scanner, and this goes on all day long on Trimet.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody should be shot by the police who's mentally ill. Nobody. It should be zero.
Well, if they come at you with a knife, you're gonna shoot. I'm going home tonight. I'm going home tonight. You come at me with a knife. It doesn't matter if you're mentally disabled or.
I mean, there's no doubt. I mean,
whatever the case may be.
It is if you're black, it's a completely different experience. You do acknowledge that, right, or not? Or you don't? You think that's not true?
I don't. I don't buy a whole lot into that.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but police are racist.
Well, they're racist everywhere. Black people are racist too.
Yeah, but they're not the dominant culture. Okay.
That's what I find funny is people. Portland is known to be racist.
Oh, I don't know if that's true, but I mean there are racists in Portland.
The majority, Portland is white. The majority of people are white.
Yeah, it's the whitest city in America. That's correct.
Yeah, the last census, I think it was like almost 80% of folk were white.
More than that, I think.
So, yeah. Portland gets a rap of being racist, but the funny thing is, most of Portland, I would say probably around 80% are liberal progressives. So with the Antifa, the Portland Timber Army, those types of people. So when they come out and say that Portland's racist, overly racist, they're talking about themselves because you are Portland. There's not a lot of.
Look, there's a difference between the police and the people. Okay, it's a different culture. You can't say that. The police culture is completely different from the population. Okay, it really is.
I don't think the police in Portland are any more different than the police in any other.
Well, yeah, probably not. They're all racist. Okay.
I don't go to the fact that they're all racist.
No, they're not all racist. But I mean, shit, man. There is a white supremacist point of view in the police agencies. Okay, it really is true. I know you don't want to believe that for some reason, but
I don't. They're to a point they're made, which is wrong. I'm not condoning that in any way. What I'm saying is, I don't think it's as far. I don't think it's as big as people make it to be.
Well, maybe not, but it's
an easy.
We're talking about systemic cultural problems here that go beyond the police. Actually, that's true, and the societies.
The problem nowadays is you don't know what's.
Hey, I was married into a family of police, and they were all nice people, and from my point of view, and my father-in-law, who was retired LA, the nicest guy I've ever known, to be honest. But I hung out with all of these, and they were racist. Okay, I hate to tell you, it's.
Well, I think the problem nowadays is everybody throws that card out. I mean.
Well, they get this siege mentality going. It's us against them. That's the problem. And it is us against them. It's not. They're not imagining it. It's true.
Well, I'm saying that people throw the race card out, or any card they can use for narratives. I mean, that kid in Texas with the dreadlocks that couldn't participate in graduation. They're making.
Yeah, well, when you're talking about you're talking about the mainstream media again, and we know where that's at. Okay.
Well, it's not even the mainstream media. It's all the people that back him. I guess he was just on the Ellen show, and Alicia Keys gave him a check. It's not. He's not being targeted because of his dreadlocks, because of his skin color. It's a code for the school. They have dress codes. They have appearance codes. And he's in violation. It goes for, it doesn't matter if it's a white person or anything. He's just in violation of their code. It's not because he's black, but here comes all the people, all the freaking cockroaches come out of the woodwork when the story like that comes out and says, race, race, race. It happens in police. It happens in public transportation. I mean, I've seen on here where people have tweeted on Trimet Twitter about, oh, look, a black person being targeted on the scanner. It's like, no, it wasn't because he was black. He was walking around at 5 a.m. with a baseball bat, okay?
Yeah.
It happened to be black, but that was a couple months ago or a month ago when I tweeted that call, and somebody said, oh, here, look, it's because he's a black guy. They're targeting him. It's like, no, it's 5 a.m. and he's walking around with a baseball bat, boarding buses and trains.
Yeah.
Not because of skin color, but here we go. Somebody's going to come out and cry, throw the card out. So it's kind of hard nowadays to believe anything.
Yeah, I know there's an element of truth in what you're saying, but I do think at the same time that there is a systemic racism within the police. So it's like I say, these problems go deeper than just the police. It's a societal problem.
I think I don't disagree with you that there is a systemic problem, but it's harder to target and eliminate when every time something happens, people pull cards, and next thing you know, there's protests and what was the guy that was shot in the parking garage downtown?
Oh, I don't remember. So many.
I can't remember his name, but there's all those protests for him and stuff. Remember, he shot other people before he got shot when he was firing at the police, and everybody comes out about police brutality because he got shot. What about the people that he shot? It's like, but it was made into race. It was made into the white cops killed the black guy. Yeah, the black guy with a gun that had shot other people. Okay.
Yeah, it's just, like I say, this is a societal problem that I don't know. We're never going to get over it.
Yeah. Oh, it just goes into your public transportation and everywhere else. It just bleeds over.
Yeah, I mean, it's a societal problem, and unfortunately, it doesn't appear. It's getting worse instead of better. It's just, I don't know what to say about it, man. It's disheartening to have to see the culture declining right in front of our eyes like this.
That's why we sit back on Trimet Twitter and just watch the show.
Yeah, right. That's what I do. I don't, I can't change anything, and I know that. And I want to be socially conscious, but at the same time, I know that we can't do anything as citizens. All we can do is watch the show. We can't do anything unless there was some kind of mass upheaval, which isn't going to happen in this country unless there's something major goes on, like they stop paying Social Security or something like that. Might get people to wake up. But in the meantime, no, nothing's going to happen here. This society is splintered, and that's partly due. They did that on purpose. They wanted to keep the society split. That's how oligarchs rule. Keep, fascist, anti-fat, keep them at each other's throats. And that way the oligarchs don't have to deal with anything because the people are fighting amongst themselves. And that's actually true. This is an actual, I'm not making that up. These things are created by media. Okay, all of the media is constantly manipulating our minds, and people don't realize the extent of that manipulation that goes on in our minds. Every time you turn on the news or Twitter or Facebook, your mind is being impacted by all of this stuff. And
well, that's why I get my news from the Poop Scoop, because
yeah,
that's legit right there.
All right, Poop, we're over an hour here, so any last comments? I'm going to wrap it up here.
Well, just what's up to the hobo? Cha-cha. Yeah. I'll try to back you up a little bit on some of these calls.
Okay. Yeah, when you can, I know that. I know it's not your thing. I know you'd rather listen to police scanner. It's understandable. I mean, much more action. Much more action.
Like I said earlier to you, just been busy and Trimet scanner kind of more rope to the computer, can't get away than police scanner can have going off in the background. But try to jump up in there, and then whoever sees us, leave some footage or some note and stuff, and we'll do it again. Maybe we'll do some stuff.
Well, it's fun for me to do. It's fun for you to do. Whether people watch it or not is irrelevant to me. It's just fun for me.
Yeah.
It's just fun for me, and that's how I approach the whole thing. It's just fun for me.
Maybe we can do like a weekly thing or something once a week.
All right.
Pop it in.
Sounds good.
So,
all right, Pete.
All right, Twitter folks.
All right, we'll see you next time.
2020, pre-JC.
All right, dude. See you later.